Good evening. My name is Scott Swenson. I've been asked by Pastor Leanne to share a little bit of a story with you about our family's faith journey and about our involvement in the community and our history with All Saints Lutheran Church. So this is my third attempt at this. So I'm just figuring out how the video components work, and I appreciate you bearing with me. So my wife Carol and I have raised three daughters through All Saints Lutheran Church. They all went to the confirmations together. They attended mission trips. As a family, we attended Bible camp at Lake Okoboji, Lutheran Bible camp, with a number of other families from All Saints, and some amazing memories of an attempt to deliberately raise our kids in a household of faith. Carol and I first joined the congregation. We were actually charter members, and back in the old days, we met at Visitation School before a building was built. I know there are other charter members in the congregation, but the numbers dwindle a little bit as we get older. I spent 2 years as council president, and the first year as council president, it was shortly after I was elected. The mission congregation pastor, Larry Smith, came to me and announced that he and his wife had accepted a call in New York and that we were going to look for a new pastor. And so we started the interim process back then, similar to what we have now. Of course, the congregation was meeting face-to-face, and there was a lot of personal contact. Now it's through Zoom and occasional parking lot activities. That experience went really well, and we ended up with Pastor Chuck, who I think did a wonderful job for our congregation for many years. We are now looking again, transition, and really feel blessed with Pastor Leanne joining our congregation to lead us through these difficult times. One of the things about my congregational presidency was I had actually been working on my master's at the University of St. Thomas, and in a class that I took, organizational theory and behavior, it became apparent really quickly that one of the organizations I was involved with that had a pretty outdated and unrealistic structure was our congregation. And so I wrote my final paper on redesigning the congregational structure. We had 13 members on the council. We had 13 committees. And so you think about the energy and the time that we put into meetings and into non-worship related activities. And over the next few years, we're able to redesign that and streamline it and make it more meaningful for a congregation our size. So kind of a fun experience going back probably 25 years ago almost, maybe. I'm not sure how long. It's been a while. But anyhow, I know these are difficult times. My prayers and thoughts go out to all of you that are struggling with health-related issues, with how to handle school options for your children, for perhaps your employment. And I pray that you're finding the resources that you need to get through this. And I pray that your experience with our congregation, even though we're not meeting face-to-face, is still helping you in this journey. And we know that our faith is there to support us in good times and in bad, but I've always found it to be so comforting when their times are a little more difficult. Our family's had a history of trying to be involved in our congregation and in our community. And I think it was related to an attitude that I had, and Carolyn joined me, in that we wanted to set the example for our kids to give back. And I think if we have an opportunity to make a difference, we need to do that. And so I've looked for ways to make differences in lots of different community organizations. And it's been a great journey, met lots of wonderful people. You may know that I'm involved with the Open Door. I'm involved with the Rotary Club of Egan and the Dakota County Regional Chamber. I've supported a number of the not-for-profits over the years as they've tried to establish fundraising options and opportunities and to build their partnerships and networking within the community, because the networking and the connections I've found to be really meaningful and important to us. So that's been important for us as we give back. As I mentioned, I was council president. I was council treasurer. Carol and I both taught Sunday school. I like to usher on Sunday in the second service. I miss that. I'd also been known to make a pot or two of coffee on Sunday afternoons. And it's a different environment. I'm grateful that Pastor Leanne and our congregational leadership is working so hard to provide us with ideas and worship possibilities in spite of this pandemic. And I'm really impressed with how, as a society, we've pivoted and we're fairly comfortable with that model. It's not the same as giving somebody a hug when you see them at church, but it is. It's still healthy to us as we contemplate what's going on in our world today. I mean, it's a crazy time between pandemics and racial issues and peaceful protests and protests that are not peaceful. And then you throw in the election, and I think the one common factor, even though we're not able to meet face to face, is our faith. And hopefully that's helping you get through it. I encourage you to pray about your participation, your activities within our congregation. I think that when we name a new permanent pastor, there's a great opportunity for us to join together and rally behind our congregation. I think there's a transition going on that can be a little unsettling. You throw in a pandemic on top of that, and all of a sudden we are faced with a lot of uncertainty. And I think that God has a plan for us. I think that my hope and dream is to be as active as I can and supportive as I can, because our congregation plays a key role in our community. Sometimes the focus is on the big mega churches, but the small community churches where there's a heart and a passion and relationships are really important to Egan and to those of us that are members of All Saints. So, one of the things Carol and I did, we'd been threatening to do it for years, had not gotten around to doing it, but we did end up converting our offering from writing checks once a month to going online and setting it up so the payments came out automatically. And if you have that option and you're in a position where you can make your offering contributions online, I'd ask you to do that. I haven't followed up with Paul Egan to find out how the Treasury is doing, but I think it's intuitive that when we're not having face-to-face meetings and people are struggling with perhaps their jobs and income and bigger issues that are more personal to the family and more immediate, that it may be that our contributions have dropped off a little bit. So there's something you can do now, but then also setting the stage for the future. I know that would be very important to our congregation. Look for ways that you can use your leadership skills and your gifts and talents, we all have them, and ways to continue to make a difference for our congregation and our community. And I will offer that if there's anything that I can do for you or anything that I can help with, let me know. Finally, I just want to say thanks again, Pastor Leanne, for your leadership and for what you meant to our congregation. There goes my phone. Somebody would have probably shut that off before they started the video, but not me, because I'm not very experienced with this. But again, Pastor Leanne, thank you very much, and to our council leadership, thank you for everything you're doing during this pandemic to keep the spirit and the love in our congregation alive and moving forward. Blessings to all of you. Take care.